and welcome to a Blog to Watch Weekly. We're calling this a Blog to Watch Weekly Raw because there's going to be no edit. It's only appearing on the main A Blog to Watch YouTube channel. We hope
Makes us sound so unpolished.
well, I mean, is that not true? That's kind of
We are
you in life, is it
refined
not?
professionals.
We are we? Is that what we're called? Is that how we're just? Is that not how the watch industry works? They just call themselves things and then just assume that mantle. But
That's
that's
how
just
Did you
like
get that
everything works these
email
days.
that I got earlier? Is that why you're saying that, or do you, or
no,
is
no,
that a?
no, no. Tell me about your email from earlier.
I don't
That
even know
sounds
if I
like
should mention
sounds like
who
content.
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't want to mention the innocent because he did not say
none,
share this,
none
but
of them are innocent.
the substance of the email was like, "What's up with everyone calling themselves a watchmaker? Not everyone that calls themselves a watchmaker is a watchmaker. Is this mean to actual watchmakers who go to watchmaking school? Look at this brand. They don't make watch movements. Why are they calling themselves a watchmaker?" And this is like
Good
not,
morning.
this is a smart person, I guess, is just like venting. And I'm like, what about
Uh-huh.
all the other terms that the industry bastardizes? Like, how about
Mm.
luxury or independent, which mean absolutely nothing anymore? You're surprised that the non-existent word police in the luxury space haven't gotten on people about watchmaker?
There should be word police in the watch industry. I think that'd be a great idea. Surely Chat GPT at this time is capable of like surveying the top 10 hit words for the watch industry, like luxury and not historic or revival or
That's what the
whatever.
GPHG should become. Rather than
Chat,
give awards,
chat.
they'll
No. Chat GPHG.
GPHGHG.
It
Okay.
was there all it was there all
Okay.
along. It was there all along, and we missed it until now.
So they nominate
Chat
people to
GPHG.
punishment, and then they vote whether or not it should be. It's a slow process, just like I guess Swiss justice. I don't know, but that's punish them through boring consensus.
Mm, mm. I
You,
don't
sir,
care.
are not independent or a watchmaker.
Mm.
How dare you?
The only thing that exists in my life from now on is Chat GPHG.
That should be your next character you make on the AI. You know.
AI Chat G. For the evening, we will do a live. I don't know when it is. We'll do a live Chat GPHG review of Chat GP whatever. You get the gist. So
You
there we go.
confuse
Yeah, it's gonna be
yourself right
hard to
now.
remember those letters.
we need to use a different AI model so we don't get too
Talk about how
confused.
like esoteric our humor is becoming.
Yes.
It's, I mean, that's kind of how it works. We got a complaint. It wasn't so much a complaint as an observation of how do
Ooh.
you expect to bring people into the hobby if you always talk like on the inside track of everything? And we're like, well, is it really our job to bring people into the hobby?
Have you heard any
I,
car podcast?
are you really stumbling across this and going, I'll give this 5 minutes and see if I really want to get into watches or not? I don't think so. So,
We
but
assume
yeah.
you already like watches, have a
Mm.
compulsion, and need this conversation because you can't be in a group of other watchmakers all the time.
Because
We
your
imagine that
wife,
you sort of
girlfriend,
like,
boyfriend,
yeah,
significant
you go
other.
to like the watch meetup and you don't even participate. You just sort of lie in the corner and you take in the conversation. You're like, I can rest
Rocking.
peacefully now.
That's right. Fetal
I've
position
seen that
in
happen.
the corner, rocking backwards and forwards.
Yes, I'm amongst friends. I can chill. Oh, the world is safe. Someone
Good
cares about
stuff.
my mainspring.
Time for a nap.
Time for a nap. Anyway, so what's been happening? What's significant watch chat has been going on? Ariel David, when I was talking to you earlier or receiving WhatsApps from you, you seem to be full of the joys of. There's lots to talk about. Let's make sure we do a show this week. I should explain that the reason why this is a live only show, this is like the secret show, is for editor reasons. So, but we decided there was enough to talk about. We'll just do it live and see how it goes.
Can we be like an airline? Can we just say mechanical difficulties?
Mechanical
Let's be vague.
difficulties.
Yeah. Not very reassuring though.
What's the most
This is your
vague
captain
reason?
Better than
speaking.
pilots drunk.
Yeah, that's I don't drink. It's as well I don't drink. Otherwise, we have a real problem here. What's the most esoteric reason that a watch brand has ever not really has ever like given to quietly remove an SKU from release or quietly sink a model? I mean, I'm thinking Zenith the original Zenith Defy
What do you mean
Lab.
exactly?
Well, that's rather than admitting yes, the pilot is drunk, they've instead said
Zenith's pilot is drunk. Okay, that is barely
That is
getting off
quite
the
clear.
ground.
But rather than telling the absolute truth as to why the watch is a disaster, they've kind of invented a reason in the background that has not really held any water, but has allowed them to slope the SKU quietly off the market. I mean, you've got the Zenith Defy Lab.
How about everything
kind of
Audemars Piguet
vanished.
makes that's not a Royal Oak?
True.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's the prime example. Is it a
What
Jules
happened to the
Audemars or an
millinery?
Edouard Piguet or something?
Jules?
I don't know.
Yeah. Jules, are you anywhere?
Jules, where are you, Jules? You're part of the name, though. I'm checking their website if they're still doing the 1159 because I genuinely am interested. Oh, they are.
Of course. Look, their biggest criticism is you're a one model brand, which is true. So they have to have at least one other model just to show, look, we have something else.
I'm looking at this train wreck of Ultra Complicación Universal.
Oh, well,
I wish I never came to this website. God damn.
This is, well, let's go to AP website.
I love all the different reasons people are giving for their return to Watches and Wonders. Like they even claim something which isn't true. It's all about wholesale. They will return to wholesale. This is one of those things where I think, Rick, you're saying they won't say the reason. Well, they're going back to wholesale.
There we go. We actually need some people that know how to sell watches. We've opened
That's a lot of fancy
boutiques.
graphics.
Yeah, they've invested some money in this. To be fair to them.
Yeah, this is some Disney money.
Welcome to the House of
out of the Marvel universe.
So is this them trying to say welcome to the House of Wonders? Are they trying to co-opt the Watches and Wonders? Welcome to the House of Wonders. The whole thing is ours. Watches and Wonders is our idea. There we go. Extra thin.
That's better than the House of Smoke and Mirrors.
Yeah, that's true. Royal Oak Jump. What do we think of this? This is the new release. Have they basically put this out to celebrate going back to Watches and Wonders? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
Is that their basic chat?
So I love how they went from having no logo on their dial, just the letters A and P, to now handwriting, which is what's the message? Hey, we're not just cool and hip and edgy, we're also old and conservative too.
Yes.
So
do we like this? I think it's not really very much in keeping. I think it's a bit odd.
I have sensitivity to cursive. I like it. It's not always good, but I think this is better than just the AP letters on the dial. That bothered me.
I just sent you two links, Rick, that you might want to open up.
Okay, let's try and find the link. So the first one all I see is Daniel Wellington.
That's spoiler, Rich. Just open it.
Let's. I'm going. There's a lot of buttons here. It's early in the morning.
There really are.
This is the iconic chronograph, according to them. Yeah. So what's our commentary on this? And
open the second link.
Oh, the second link. I need two of them. Audemars Piguet. All right. Okay. It's slowly.
I'm glad Daniel Wellington's still a thing. I didn't know.
Yeah,
who owns them now?
Oh, who knows?
Who knew? I mean,
there we go.
I'm not sure who's buying them, but
what do we think is the price difference? Is 43,200 for the Audemars Piguet.
Yeah, pounds.
And pounds.
You should mention that part of it.
Yeah, and for the iconic chronograph St. Mawes Arctic, which basically looks the same from any given distance, is that's $12.73 a month on Klarna. It's £270. So you could literally
that's a lot for Daniel Wellington.
It's reduced as well. It's €270, so it's 250 quid. Changing every minute. Yeah.
What is that, like a bent piece of metal you get with it? Free shrapnel.
Oh yeah. There's like a free a free bracelet. Is this like to
scrap metal you can wear?
Is this like Daniel? Is this like
classy?
Ooh, this is
talking about profit margins.
Yeah,
scrap metal.
Does it have to? The reality is, You put this on, and folk are going to think your name is Daniel Wellington when they find you absolutely passed out, drunk in a gutter somewhere. They're going, Daniel, wake up, wake up.
If something happens to this person,
wrist.
please call them Daniel Wellington while viciously shaking them awake.
Yeah, let's stop sharing that.
Wake up, Mrs. Wellington. Should I call your husband Daniel?
The police are searching all over for people called Daniel Wellington. Yeah, that's just that goes into.
So
the
what
weird
can we do to
box, for
cast a
sure.
larger net to get novices in? Because I take that feedback seriously. How can we make a goofy watch lover conversation for the masses?
Well, so watch conversation. So what would you need to do? I mean, is it that you need to get cars involved? Or is it that what you need to do is you need to get something else involved that more people are already into? So they come for that and then they stay for the what? They go, oh, watch chat. So we can become a movie podcast on the basis that people like films. More people like films than like watches. But we talk about the watches. And then they go, oh, actually, watches sound interesting. Let's let's go for the deep dive, full on hardcore watch podcast.
Yeah, but sometimes I find like watches is the hobby of last resort for certain people. Like they couldn't find their group with anything else, but watches somehow is it. So they're already feeling like, oh, movies, that didn't work for me. I mean, I like movies, but I don't even know. Are there other watch and movie podcasts? Would there be competition in that space?
I don't think so. There are other watch podcasts who have diversified and now don't talk about watches at all. I mean, we are edging towards that quite quickly. Not actually talking about watches at all. But
well, I am definitely trying to bring it back to watches on a regular basis.
Good luck. So you've got is it Worn and Wound do their F1 podcast? I think they occasionally talk about watches and that, and there's some movie ones.
This reminds me. So I was in Rhode Island, and we can talk about my trip with Lange. And Jay Leno was doing a live podcast from this event called The Gathering, which was one of the various events at the Odd Rain
That
Newport
doesn't sound like a
weekend.
cult at all. No, The Gathering.
Yeah.
No. It's only a car cult.
No sacrifices.
So,
where are the
no,
guns?
it was pretty cool. They did the recording outside. They had microphones, and
so you could fire ammunition in the air. You go,
It's the Spike car talk thing with Spike and Johnny Lieberman and Jay Leno, and they begin it, and Johnny Lieberman and Spike are kind of like doing small talk, and Jay is just like, "Why don't we talk about cars?" He was like really sick of it. He's like, "Guys, I'm here for the cars. The other stuff doesn't interest me." And they're like, "Oh well, we do 10 minutes of small talk to warm things up," and Jay's just like, come on, let's just get into the cars. I just love that he was just like so bored. It reminded me of me sometimes. It was like, we gotta warm people up. Like, I just want to get super nerdy and academic. He was the same way. I felt a kinship there because like I was like, I get it. He's like, but he asked, he's like, when are we gonna talk about cars? It was like, no, you know, he said, I thought this was a car podcast.
Good. Straight to the point.
I think we have to explain stuff more. We have to like explain watches more rather than talk about it assuming people know. Explain more. So maybe we could try by giving more context when we discuss something. I don't know.
I just prefer to assumed knowledge. Just like if you can't go away and do the research yourself, tough. We don't care. We'll talk behind
it's an advertisement for our articles.
Exactly. Yes.
We don't. We're not so general there, right? We are a lot more specific and explanatory.
Yes, I think the problem with a podcast is we've done 191 of these things. You kind of get into a groove at some point of just how it is, and it's difficult to go back and do the context. Why do we clap at the beginning of a show? Well, you'd had to have been listening from about episode 50 to understand that. Why is Guess the Price of the Seiko such a significant segment in our lives? Why is Ripley always wearing a baseball cap? What's with the wall jokes?
That we don't know.
Things that we don't know. There is no answer to that. Ripley's not here, by the way. He's missing out. I'm not sure what he's doing. What is Ripley doing? Has he got a good excuse?
He's in Boston with Tag Heuer, and I guess actually no, this is live. We're not supposed to talk about it. There's going to be a new product debut, which is
not with any brand that rhymes with mag.
Mag.
No, it's Tag. I just said
Vancouver.
Tag Heuer. That's okay. I've blown that part. But it's the product that not half, maybe 70% of the people at Tag Heuer just prefer not to think about. They're like, oh yeah, we also make that. That's what's being debuted. I'm into it, but
So we said-
again, a lot of people at Tag Heuer would prefer that this department didn't exist.
We'll watch out for that. We'll watch out for that. Maybe Ripley will end them.
There
with
was a
that.
lot of interesting
Eviscerating.
watch collector conversation happening in
Mhm.
Newport with Lange
Mm.
and all that.
Yeah,
That was
tell
actually
us
pretty
about it.
interesting.
Tell us about Newport and Lange.
So I like hearing from the brand about how they speak about the products, and I also try to pull information out of them. Some of the stuff they don't talk about. They make their movements. They're super proud of that. They make some of their cases for the really, really high-end watches, which is interesting. I didn't always realize that. But one of the things they don't make is hands and dials, and the dials are pretty good. But it was really amazing hearing internally at Lange & Söhne them complaining about bad hands. They're like, oh, you can't believe what the supplier did. And they told me something interesting, which isn't something they say really publicly, but I found this really cool. On particularly high-end Lange watches, I don't know the money threshold, but like, I don't think like 50,000 or 100,000, not enough. Like 200,000-300,000 more, maybe. What they do is they take the hands that come in and then they further process them. So they they'll hand polish or they'll do some extra little thing to them. It's honestly not that much, but it's an acknowledgement that at the over $500,000 level, and they have a few of those watches for sure, the stock hands don't quite cut it. And really the difference is just more legibility. Like we'll have polished, silver colored hands against a black dial, and we know what that does to legibility. But then if you change it so it's not quite as reflective, it's a little bit better. But it's interesting some of these little secrets, because Lange is just big enough that they can't really make their own hands. About 5,000 watches a year. So they're still completely at the mercy of the hand suppliers. It's kind of funny in a weird way to hear this, very proud, very respected company. It's like, oh, goddamn hand supplier. We had to redo the hands. Like same type of issue that like a low-rand brand might have.
Why is
Yeah,
it
I
that
find
the
it
image
funny
of-
that these suppliers don't have the self-respect to say like, hey guys, there's no way we're shipping this out to Lange. I mean, it's going. We know the quality of the watches these hands are supposed to go on. I think they should self-police a little bit more than that and self-check a little bit more in terms of quality control and stuff, right? I think where's the respect?
Yeah, the Lange team's all laughing now when they hear that. They're like, ha, little do you know.
Why is it that when you're talking about hand suppliers, all I can think about is the giant foam hands that folk wear in football stadiums or at gladiators or whatever?
I don't know, Rick.
But the hand
Which
manufacturer is the same guy. That's the entry level.
That's
hand
only in your
manufacturer
head, Rick.
is the
Probably
big
nobody.
foam hand. who are the hand? Presumably, the hand manufacturer, if they're making hands for Lange & Söhne, also make hands for
Daniel Wellington,
Ross,
maybe.
Daniel Wellington, whoever it may be. Do we know who's the go-to hand manufacturer in Switzerland? Is there more than one?
There's a
not
small
that
handful
many.
of them.
There's a
Small
really
handful.
small number.
Here all week, tip your waitress.
Oh, well, I mean, they're not getting them from,
We're sorry.
they're not getting from Asia. And I'd say most brands get hands from Asia, which is fine.
Okay.
So they sort of self-limit themselves. And I said to them, I was like, if you were going to add some more industrial capacity, it might want to be hands. They're like, yeah, we totally agree. Like we're definitely looking into that.
I just love the idea of all these Lange & Söhne executives sitting around the boardroom table going, we have a real hands problem. Hands? Whose hands? Who let hands in the room?
Oh, it's a pun. Hands
There's
or
some pun-
Hans?
Hands or hands? Is there a hands and hands? I don't know. Anyway, what was in it for
the one time we go live, we have to suffer all these puns. There's no way to do this. That's hilarious.
What was in it for Lange & Söhne doing this event in Newport Beach? I felt, looking at the coverage, it just felt a bit kind of like weird. Why is a 5,000 a year piece watchmaker that sells everything it's got involved in this big event?
It wasn't clear. What did you think was the reason?
I really didn't understand as to why, as to what it was about, what the connection was.
Well, I would call it an exercise in big whale hunting.
Right. Okay.
The strategy for a lot of these companies is not, let's get our name out there because this event gets a bunch of press and people go
Mhm.
there, and similar to sort of how, maybe a Rolex would have sponsored an event in the past. Rolex was usually never at these events, at least not in any type of public capacity. So you'd see the Rolex
Mhm.
name everywhere, but there was no Rolex to be seen. You carry that information over for, I don't know, something else you were doing. Brands today have a different sort of idea sometimes. They know that the general brand awareness they're going to get is low. They're going to look for actual clients. Companies like Lange and Zona primarily sell direct to consumer. And at a price point like that, what they've recognized is we have to go out there and find the folks that could be customers. And I think there's a practicality. Certain brands are like, oh, we have our 300 clients around the world. We're good. But Lange understands you have to always be getting new blood. You always have to get new people in there. Like, this is a necessary component. So for them, this is an exercise in, let's find new people to
Mhm.
buy our watches. And they have found quite correctly that the types of folks that spend money on vintage collectible cars tend to have some disposable income. That is not a hobby you do unless you have lots of resources and free time and the type of culture to buy and wear these watches. And in large parts, they've been correct. Wilhelm Schmidt, the CEO of Lange & Söhne, is a car guy himself, and he's a real car guy. Like, you could tell that he's not just sort of like in it for the marketing metrics. And there was a little thing he did, which actually reminded me like something of like what David would do. And we were having a conversation
Uh-oh.
somewhere, and in the background, some engine turned on,
Uh-huh.
and he just reflexively looked up, like, engine noise. I have to see what that is. I have to see what that is.
Yes.
And like,
Follow the engine.
only a
Must
car
follow the
guy
engine.
will kind of do that. Like, anyone else is just like, what's an annoying growl? But a car guy like looks up and smiles. Is like, is there an animal to identify?
Is it a V8 or a V12?
A free
yeah.
roaming V12.
I think it was a big V8. I think it was.
Ah.
There was actually a Shelby Cobra, like an old AC one, like parked nearby. It might have been that, which has a very distinct sound to it.
Hopefully
But
7
anyways,
liters.
Yes.
he likes
America.
cars. He's found that the people at these events like watches, and they've sampled around. For example, they said they went to this one in Germany last year, something at a lake in Bavaria. And they were like, I liked how they said it. No, we will not be returning to this one. And that was like, in their home country, not
Uh-huh.
so much. So like,
Not for
they've
us.
ruled that one out. The
Uh-huh.
Odd Rain, they're like, yes, thumbs up. And so they have their 3 events. They have that, the one in the UK, which is the concourse of maybe
Yeah.
elegance at Hampton Court Palace, and then the I always forget the precise name, but the one in Italy at Lake Como that I think David has been to, which is quite lovely. So that's
Concorso
gonna be it for them.
d'Eleganza.
Yeah, that one. Does that answer your
Right,
question,
okay.
Rick, of why
Yeah.
big,
So,
big whale
and
hunting?
do you feel that they land some of these whales? Like, sometimes marketing exercises like this are because the guy who owns the company likes the context of the marketing exercise.
Well,
which
they
he
landed
clearly
Jay
does.
Leno. That's actually
Right,
how he
okay.
became a client. He was
Right,
at the
okay.
Odd Rain. He's like, oh,
Mhm.
there's the sponsor booth. Let me go walk
Mhm.
up. Oh, nice watches.
Okay.
And then he started buying them. So like, if
Yeah.
that's
You
not
don't
a
need many of them
really
for it
good
to work.
anecdotal validation of the strategy, I
Yeah.
don't know what is.
Cool. Well, if you land a Jay Leno once every
That's
2
what Jay
years,
Leno
you're probably
said. I
fine.
did not.
Yeah.
That's not even Lange's thing. That's what he said.
Okay. Cool. Good. Where does it rate in terms of a watch event? It's something
I mean, you're outside with a bunch of
Mhm.
people showing off, so pretty high.
Okay. Right, okay. But in terms of your desirability to go back there as a free individual rather than as a watch journalist, is it sort of thing you go, yeah, this is my vibe. I can deal with this.
Yeah, it's appreciably more accessible than an event like Pebble Beach,
Mhm.
though it's kind of similar surroundings in a lot of ways. Um, Look, if you don't like cars, don't go to this event, right? Like, I don't know why you would do
You've
that
been
to
warned.
yourself. Wear a hat. It can be very sunny. But yeah, I mean, the thing is this: what watch people want to do is be able to like go up to a stranger and be like, "Can I just talk about watches for a little bit?" in sort of a safe environment. At least it's a
It's
place
a
you can kind of do that.
Hmm.
I mean, I went up
It's
to a guy and I started talking about his car. turned out it was like his in high school, and then he had it restored and blah, 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 blah. And after the chat, he's like, thank you for listening to my story. And I was like, I didn't realize that was such a big part of it. But like, if you go to these people and be like, tell me about your watch, be prepared to sit there for like possibly 10 minutes, or they might get weirded out. I don't know. It's either way.
Yeah. Is it cheaper than therapy? That's really what we're asking. Just to be able to go up and open your heart to another human being.
Is therapy that expensive these days?
About a thing you love. I have no idea. We have a national health service here, remember? So it is strange when you really think about it. It is strange, the ability that, because you know, like the psychology behind knowing that everybody who's in this location is into the same thing that you are, so you don't need to worry about small talk or even the awkwardness of asking the person their name. You can just launch straight into talking about the random mechanical toy that is on their wrist. It's like dog walkers. We've got some dogs here, and you walk your dog, and you suddenly realize after a number of years of walking the dogs, you know the names of all the other dogs on the walk, but you don't know the names of the owners walking the dogs. It's the same sort of thing. You can go and talk to anybody without the fear of having to awkwardly introduce and remember a person's name.
Once they give their car a personal name, it gets creepy. I do not want to have conversations. That's
Okay.
a bit much for me, okay?
Welcome. This is Rosie, the Lamborghini Countach.
Slowly walking away, slowly backing off.
Back into the hedge like Homer. Okay, doke.
Dissolve into the crowd. Dissolve into the crowd.
David, weirdest watch event experience you've had, or weirdest, like, most awkward moment talking to someone else collecting watches when you just realize, no, this is getting creepy now. Time to leave. Time to go. Oh, hi over there. Haven't seen you for a while. There you go.
I can recall the sensation, but it's difficult for me to recall where it happened.
The sensation
It
is
certainly
real.
wasn't the other day. It was 5 or 6 plus years ago, probably more.
Yeah,
definitely a bar late in the evening.
Some red light.
Just trying to put like this whole entire day and watch talk and event to bed, and somehow that didn't work. And yeah, there have been a few places where I felt like people were like, even by my own standards, like really into things.
Watches.
And I'm like,
it's like you're not really into watches, are you? You're into something else.
It was just so weird.
Watches just happens to be the thing that when you become the serial killer, they will announce you as, yes, he killed 15 people and was also a watch collector. It will be the
Great.
Right. Let's talk about some actual watches then. Ariel, you did a hands-on of this from Girard Perregaux. Laureato 50 watch.
That's an Ariel watch if there ever was one, isn't it?
Why? What makes it an Ariel watch? Two-tone?
The gray and gold, the angularity, the textures. The color scheme, 3 hands. Yeah, that's just, if I look at it, I think like that's Ariel. I would say that you're the top rated person in the team to like this and potentially get this watch, not anyone else from the team.
Okay, Ariel,
wow. Does that mean no one else likes it? Like, oh, Ariel's the only one that can say anything good about this?
No, you are just the top rated. You're just like the first who comes to mind. I can imagine Sean wearing this as well, but that's like a close second.
I like this watch. The moment I put it on, I realized that it was a good design. I think that's really what I like the most. You have a 39mm case with very broad lugs. So it like wears substantially, even though it's inherently not that big. And it feels, again, just the sort of proportions, it feels larger than it is. The funny thing is that Girard Perregaux is using this as a new introduction, right? Brand new. It's a limited edition, but it's a brand new Laureato, right? Like it kind of technically replaces the previous ones, yet they're not stopping to make the previous ones since they have, of course, a lot in production right now. So it's like they're going to have the new generation and the old generation and still try to be like, oh, but the old generation's good. And it's not bad, but like, it's sort of like you go to buy a car and they have like the 2 model generations on the lot. Why would you buy last year's model?
There's just like a few of these watch brands and car brands to do this. This is like such a Maserati thing to do, really. It's
So yeah. which is funny because we didn't even mention Aston Martin, which I think they
Yeah,
still
and I was
sponsor,
going to say
maybe.
Austin as well. Yeah,
Yeah. It has a new movement, which is the caliber GP
finally.
4800, which it's got silicon, it's got like a modern power reserve, you can regulate it real finely. The
So
movements
this
that they had
replaces the
before,
3300.
well, that's the thing, replaces. They're still making plenty of them. Theoretically, yes. And then one of the higher end models, I think the 42 millimeter, has a different caliber called the GPO 1800, and almost has similar tech specs as this, was a lot wider. Anyways, I discussed in the article. It gets a bit confusing. The new movement's supposed to be good. It's nice. The proportions are good. If you compare it side by side to one of the old Laureatos, you're like, oh my God, that looks different. But they did a good job of, at a glance, nothing inherently looks different, right? Like if you were just a casual fan and you saw this two-tone Laureato and they call it Laureato 50, you're like, okay, that's nice. You would have no immediate idea that it's completely new in all ways. And this is,
You need a trained eye.
you need a trained,
Yes.
but it's part of one of those jokes where the art is, I don't know exactly how they've said it. I sort of say it as the art of completely new, but also not new at all. Right? Like it's totally new, but it
Again,
looks
it's
like,
just cars.
Rolex likes to do that. So I think that's their measure,
It
is something
works.
like the Submariner. Yeah, it works. The original Laureato, from 1975, I guess, was a quartz watch, and I think that's really cool that it wasn't always mechanical and it began as a quartz, always high end, but a quartz one. And other than some special limited ones, I don't think there's been a quartz Laureato made in a really, really long time. So it's kind of an interesting and ironic manifestation where the watch was like originally intended to be this modern thing, and now today, given the fact that it's a mechanical watch, it's like decidedly old school. So the logic of what these watches are for, blending with the culture, blending with the expectations and collector interests, it just it's the ultimate mishmash of concepts.
I
As
also,
good.
yeah, I was just going to say, I like how, I imagine, I expect this to go over people's heads, but in the larger community sometimes. But, this is 50 years old now, the Laureato. And, they can rub it in the face of Patek because the Nautilus is 50 just next year. And people look at this and they're like, oh, it's too much like a Royal Oak. And then, the freaking Nautilus just, next year it's going to be like, oh my God, I have to get the 50th anniversary nonsense because it's just like so different. And it's just such a different, and it's just so new and fresh. And it's fresh in 76. This came out in 75, a year before that. And, I think this also deserves to be treated in at least somewhat similar fashion. I think it's not as dainty looking or not as elegant as a Nautilus. Of course, it's just, I don't think that the design is as well judged or well proportioned as that is, but it's getting there. When I looked at this, when this came into my inbox and I was looking at this, I could tell that it was new, like new bezel, new case, new bracelet. It's just here and there, it's just a little bit more crisp, a little bit more refined, a little bit less bulky. It still needs some weight taken off of it, I think, but it's getting there. But it's also mighty expensive at like 28,000 euros or whatever it was, right?
Yep.
That's
$28,000
expensive.
$20. I'm interested in why they decide that the first release of this should be two-tone. I mean, obviously,
Well,
there's going to
look
be a
at the
stainless
original.
steel. There's going to be a full gold. Is it just because of the original? Is that the
Yep.
reference point? The original
I
was
mean,
two-tone.
look,
I mean,
when
yeah,
these
okay.
when they debut a new model, what do they want to
Mhm.
do? They want to make it expensive but not too expensive. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like so it's like it's a complicated justification for the price. I think it
Mhm.
begins that. I think they're like, okay, this is the price we want to get to. How do we reach that? What do we need to offer to justify that? Some gold, not too much gold. What I like that this watch does is it officially removes the GP letter logo, which is basically just like GP's answer to AP, even though, of course, they, if you look on the original one, they had done it. So it's not like a new thing. But I didn't like it when the GP logo was the 12 o'clock hour marker. I think this is a little bit nicer. Again, it basically follows just what Audemars Piguet did as well.
I can't wait
also
for the
like-
handwritten Cher Perigo text.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. But I also think that it's funny how they discuss the origin story. So, of course, with the Nautilus and the Royal Oak, I guess they've romanticized it, but the whole Gerald Genta thing. With this, the honest answer is, so who came up with it? What was their idea? We're not really sure. that's just like the honest answer. They're not BSing. Maybe they're like hiding history. They're like embarrassed about it. They don't know. I don't know. But I think another fun little detail here is that it finally has a micro adjust, and it's the kind of like one that you sort of pull out and snap back in on the lug ends. So this, that's the number one thing that collectors ask for now. I've talked to multiple brands about it, and that's I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. That means they don't have anything else to complain about. But like everyone is asking for micro adjusts, even if they don't ultimately care or use it. Like that's the thing that consumers are asking for.
I mean, for this sort of money, better have it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, for 30K, yes, engineer it into everything over three grand. I think it's just it's very rare to have a watch on a metal bracelet without a micro adjust that is comfortable all the time. It's extremely rare.
You try telling Cartier that.
Or anyone else almost. Oh jeez.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to see, presumably we just see as the sellout of the old ones in stainless steel and full gold and titanium or whatever else they make them out of, then it'll just revert to this and we'll see a long host of these coming along. Girard-Perregaux also do a kind of ruggedized version of the Laureato, did they not?
Absolute?
Imagining?
You mean the vodka version?
The vodka version is that we're calling it.
Offshore.
So, do we think this is their version of the offshore? Yes, is that right? Is this where this is going? This is going to be their stock movement for everything, or are we going to have a race? Not a race, but a competition, a bit like Oris, whereby they've got their expensive movement and then they've got their run.
Are you saying it's not panorama enough for you? You need more cladding.
I need more cushioning for the awkwardness of farm. It's not a farm watch yet. It needs more ruggedness, please.
I think they have the perfect watch for you. Maybe the Jackpot Tourbillon is the perfect tractor watch.
The Jackpot Tourbillon. Is that?
Oh yeah, this is like this is my most favorite cult Girard-Perregaux of all time.
Okay, hold on. Let's try and.
You don't know the Jackpot Tourbillon?
I don't think so. Jackpot.
Oh my gosh.
Tourbillon.
The most impressive thing about the Jackpot Tourbillon is the presentation case.
Yeah, that was in a square case.
This
right?
is
For
I'm
the watch
on.
Itself.
Yeah, hold on a second. I am on Chrono 912. So let me just.
How's their relaunch going or whatever they're doing?
Is that these? No.
Oh,
this.
Yes.
There we go.
Wow, yes. Okay.
That's all.
Ding, ding.
That's a deal. I'd love to see an actual.
170.
That is honestly, it was I don't know, maybe $500,000 to begin with.
Yeah, there we go. There's some pictures. Excellent. So this is
not that I can afford that. But if they came with a box, totally get this.
Look at those hands. You wouldn't be allowed to wear this watch in the street in the UK because those hands would count as being lethal weapons. How sharp are they? They're not like airplanes with that. Yeah.
If you're jealous of watch hands because you can't carry around a knife, then yeah, there's something wrong.
I can feel the weight all over, over here. Just from this case. This is back in the day when gold cases used to be heavy. Have you guys noticed how gold watches are becoming less and less heavy?
Well, yeah, they're using less and less gold. That's the pricey thing. Oh, speaking of gold, so Lange told me another funny story that I was amazed. It has to do with gold and melting down gold. So today, bracelets are like the exciting thing. Oh, you're doing something on.
There's Girard-Perregaux as cursive on its way.
Oh boy. Should I continue my German gold story or not?
No. We want your gold story.
Today, bracelets are a big thing. And Lange has the Odysseus, and of course there's the gold version of that, and those cost a fortune. But there's a big demand for bracelets, and we'll all agree that bracelets are popular right now, despite the price. And it's funny because even though gold and platinum are very expensive right now, at the high end there's still demand. So the story goes that when Mr. Schmidt first became CEO, I think around 2010 or so, the company had this big stock of their precious metal bracelets. And these were made by a third-party company, not them. They're made beautifully. And they didn't come automatically in any watch. It was like an option. and they cost, I think even back then, like 80 grand or something like that. And they were just massive pieces of gold. So he comes in there and eventually he decides, what am I going to do with all these unsold gold and platinum bracelets? They end up melting them down. They melt them down to turn them into watch cases. Now he's like, oh crap. People want these things, even at crazy high prices. But we melted them all down and we can't get more made. So unless they spend insane amounts of money. So, again, but it's true. Nobody really wanted these if they just waited a little bit. But it's just interesting, the decisions they have to make. They have this valuable asset, this material, and even a company like Lange that you think they're in it for the long term, they'll wait. They know that eventually they'll come back into style. They're like, no, guys, we got to melt this shit down.
Whenever I walk around the city and I see these pawn shops, and they buy what they call broken gold whenever it's actually like some piece of jewelry or whatever it is, and they buy it in they pay as much as it is its weight in gold, and then that's it. And I always wondered who would do that to remove something from its original function and design and decoration and all the rest of it and just turn it into just melted gold. And from now on, whenever I see one of these shops, I would just think of Lange. Can you imagine just going to a pawn shop and just taking a bunch of extremely precious Lange bracelets? Can you imagine?
Can I weigh these in, please?
I mean, I understand their desperation. I can sympathize with that because you're sitting on this huge stock. It's worth hundreds, if not millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands or millions, and you just got to make a decision at some point. And who knew when the tides would turn? So I'm not saying they did anything wrong. It's just hilarious that even these brands with these precious stocks sometimes end up melting them down. That's wild.
Yeah, so they're incredibly rare. In other words, those bracelets are very rare.
Good to know. And
they're cases now. Is it an identity crisis for these cases? Like, I used to be a bracelet.
I mean, but that's the thing. We talk a lot about what the brands do with oversupply, and the big brands, especially like companies like Rolex and others that make a significant amount of products in precious metal. We know those don't all get sold, and it is definitely the case that watches out there get taken apart. Movements might be reused or set on a shelf for the future. Cases and bracelets, especially, yeah, they'll keep some, but for the most part, if it's an old unit, it's better for them to melt it down and make something new. And that's better than them sort of flooding the market. So we kind of laugh about it. But who was the company that got in trouble? Oh yeah, I think it was Burberry for like burning. They just like burn their stuff. They can't recycle those things. They're just like, oh, we can't. So let's burn it. And it was a big outcry. They're like, just give it to people, okay? They would rather burn it than have a poor person wearing their clothing for free.
Yeah. I've kind of got this vision of, is it Toy Story 4, where they're trying to deconstruct the toys? It feels like some sort of watch horror show. I've been assembled.
What a reference!
Into this nice watch. And now you want to do not disassemble.
It's exactly like Toy Story. Every one of the movies.
Or every one of the movies. There we go.
Are you Buzz Lightyear?
Am I Buzz Lightyear? Well, I mean, maybe that's what we should do. I mean, I was going to delay playing Watch You Like because we were using computer games, but maybe we should be doing one of them as Toy Story characters. Which watch brand? You just walked into this as a very quick. This week's Watch You Like is which watch is most, or brand is most like Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story.
It's an anniversary year. I think it's like 30 years of Toy Story.
So every brand has an anniversary year, which is most years. Is there any brand that is not celebrated? That a brand that has only celebrated being 50 and 100? We all know most of them have celebrated being 73 and 91 and 12.
All I know is that number 5's Vacheron doesn't do. It's only 10s. If it's a 5-year, no. So 270, yes. 275. How dare you? Good. That's not a real year. We don't care about that.
Classy, Vacheron. I respect that. Yeah, keeping it classy. So Vacheron Constantin is most like Buzz Lightyear.
It's kind of like with Lange. They're like, we don't want to have a quarter repeater. We're going to do a decimal repeater. Which makes more sense.
Buzz Lightyear's phrase, to infinity and beyond. Does that ring any bells?
Thank you for reminding us.
ring any bells with any watch brands? Something about going into infinity. It's going to be IWC with that perpetual calendar. IWC
Oh, the
most
eternity
like Buzz Lightyear. Yeah,
to eternity and beyond.
Yeah, and Chris Granger's kind of a square-jawed type. He's kind of Buzz Lightyear-esque, is he not?
I love how that's your
Like,
fantasy
just
Buzz Lightyear watch.
my fantasy Buzz Lightyear
I
is
could see
Chris
him wearing
Granger from IWC.
like the engineer of past, the one that looked like it
Mhm.
was supposed to be worn by a space ranger.
Yes. There we go.
Yeah,
I've solved it.
talk about
so
unsold
confused.
inventory, huh?
IWC and Buzz Lightyear. Right, let's leave that then for just now and talk about another watch. New release Cartier Santos de Cartier watches with titanium cases and loomed black dials. Now, yeah, these are very nice. I do like a Santos. It's definitely in my top 5 if I was ever to buy another decent watch other than a Panerai. Definitely a strong contender as something that I would consider to be entirely different. I wouldn't be conflicted in the same way that if I had like a deep sea and a Panerai, I'd be like, well, why would it be the deep sea rather than the Panerai? They're not both basically the same thing. But a Cartier Santos, I'm like, no, it's a different vibe for sure, but still a sports watch. So this is a titanium version and a black dialed version. You can say what you like about these. Initial thoughts, gents, while I line up the website.
I don't know
as a
why these are
concern.
so controversial. I'm actually
Hmm.
amazed that people had such a big reaction. I thought they'd be like,
Is
"Oh,
that right?
okay."
Were they treated
Who-
controversially?
What
I
was
haven't looked at the
controversial about
chat.
these? There's nothing. It's
Look at some of the comments.
Yeah, let's say if that recent
Pe-
Hublot back, yeah, this is what you get if you're not a fan. Timeless design, yeah, no, like it, see, like, yeah, not impressed, never been a fan. They stole
Look
the
at the amount
face.
of vitriol now.
Wow.
I think it's just the general
the
bad sentiment
internet.
out there.
It's the internet. Well,
Nobody likes
Well,
I just-
anything. It's like
When I
everything's
look at this,
red.
I think about how all those relatively open flat surfaces are going to be scratched. Just
Yes.
look horrible eventually with all these.
That's why you need
dings
diamonds. I'm
and
looking
scratches.
at one. I'm just looking at one that has diamonds on it. That's the
Mm.
solution. Just put diamonds in the bezel.
Yeah,
19,300.
well, I'm on the Cartier website, and I because I went to have a look after reading the article, and I'm like, how many Santoses are there now? And
53.
I'm like, we're now into like Doxa territory here. Because I'm like, I do like a Santos. And then when I scrolled through them, like, well, which one would I actually have? Because I do like that green
Whichever
one.
they have in
really
stock.
nice.
They never have these. This issue, and it's so confusing because the large is different large depending on the model
Yeah.
you're looking at sometimes, so it's just like it's the stupidest thing ever that Richmond somehow is just hooked on. It's like, let's call it a lot. If I go to a brand and I buy a large t-shirt, I want it to be I'm the same size, okay? So if I buy a shirt that says large, irrespective its color or its style, it still has to fit me because I haven't changed. So that's why I go and buy a large one. And then it's just like also so condescending to say it's a large. You don't know what millimeters are. We just call it a large. Which one do you want, a large or a medium? It's just the most infuriating thing in a long time. And they keep doing this.
Well, David's happy.
David's got this sorted. David's got this sorted. But yeah, look. I mean, there are 53 versions of this.
Yeah.
Some get diamonds.
You know where these terms come from? Large, medium. You know where this comes from? This comes from the old catalog world. When you would never put something as boring as a dimension statistic in a catalog. So when you saw these watches floating in space and you saw different price levels, they used to use terms like small and medium, large, just to communicate like this might be a men's version, this might be a ladies version. But it comes from that kind of old selling through catalog world.
Okay, so the extra large is a 44.6, and the large is a 47.5. The extra large is smaller in every dimension than the large.
I did not know that.
Well,
it took me 20 seconds to find it.
So there's Santos.
It is confusing. I mean, he is right. You're right. They have there's the chronograph. They're a bit confused with that. But I mean, look, anybody who's about fashion knows that an American large and a European large literally have no business being next to one another.
Yeah, don't engineers work here? Imagine designing something like, oh, let's go extra large, and then somebody, boss, I just designed one. Okay, let's call that large, I guess. I mean, I guess it's
So
large.
is this mainstream enough? Complaining about the way that Cartier advertises
Yeah.
their sizes. Is this bringing in the novice?
Is this bringing in the novice? Bringing
Yes.
in the novice.
I'm
Can
sure
you
they would
appreciate
have like,
horology more as a function of hearing us complain about how Cartier is? Also, why can't it just be Cartier Santos? Why Santos de Cartier? Who are you trying to impress?
Santos
What-
Dumont.
Do you have a? I mean, the Santos Dumont.
You know
Okay,
what?
that's
I
a
hadn't
slightly different
actually
model.
noticed. Has it always been Santos de Cartier?
Oh, all their
Have you
stuff
just-
is something de Cartier.
All right, so but we
Except
just
for the
always have
Santos
said-
Dumont, which is just Santos Dumont.
Right, okay. I'm
Yeah,
confused
because then it
already.
would just be Santos Dumont de Cartier.
So the Santos Dumont is extra large, and it's not the Cartier, but the Santos de Cartier is just large and is the Cartier. So
Look-
you go in there.
Look how
and I think-
confused.
Listen, I think this guy's reaction, slapping his own face with the Cartier on, is actually just.
He's like,
feel
"Don't
that's
ask
it.
me. Here's the
Don't
watch."
ask me.
It's large.
Or extremely close.
And the question is ultimately, are they the ones who are stupid, or are they smart and think that we are stupid? Which one is it? Who's stupid here? Is the
Who's
question
stupid?
ultimately?
Is that bringing?
I
folk
think
into
it's
the
just a
hobby, David?
mismatch between our level of the data we want and the
Mm.
sort of mainstream. Like, we know that the people who are hired to write this stuff and do these layouts are not usually watch nerds. Like, if you're the watch nerd at the company, like, you're not doing the data entry stuff, like, on the
That's
website,
fine.
or at least hopefully not.
But it's not
I
helpful.
just think that's what it is.
Yeah, but it's not helpful
I
at the end of
don't
the day. If they,
Have they ever
if-
wanted
if-
to be helpful?
that's
any way?
That's another. Yep, that's a good point. That's a good question. Yeah.
Oh, actually,
We're
that's a
Cartier. We
good
can do
question.
whatever we want.
Is there a chat? Oh, there's a chat function.
Of course, there's a chat.
Chat function. Do we think?
Chat-
thinking about-
chat
Just
to
ask.
Cartier.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm
I love
gonna-
it when
I'm
Rick
gonna
goes on a chat. I absolutely love it. Ask, why is an extra large watch smaller
I'm-
than a large
I'm-
watch in the
I'm
world
trying
of
to
Cartier?
I'm not sure.
I'm
that it-
confused about your sizing.
By
Start with
continuing
that.
feedback.
this chat
Experience
site
1. Give it a 1.
Oh,
Just-
look,
You have
it's
you have to give it a
site-
1. Yes. Submit.
What
Why?
is the reason
Can
for
you
your
explain
rating?
sizing to Cartier?
Other,
Size-
please specify.
sizing the Cartier.
Right, okay, so we've got 250 letters to ask this question. So the
David
reason
has lost his mind because your extra large watch is smaller than a large watch.
Okay, why?
You
How
morons.
could you rate the experience before you have it?
Why is your so what XL watch?
It's extra. It's spelled out extra dash large.
Extra, why is your extra large watch smaller than your large watch? Extra large watch smaller.
Folks, we got more watches coming, I
than
promise.
your
I think.
No, we don't. We're gonna end the show shortly. Large watch? Question mark. Submit. There we go. Thank you for sharing your feedback. We look forward to welcoming you again online. And
We shall ignore it in haste.
That goes in the recycling bin. There we go. Cool.
If
right,
we could melt down
let's-
your question, we would.
recycle it. Right, back to our glorious website. Let's find one more watch to speak about. Anyone got any suggestions that they would like to touch
Yeah, we
on?
should talk about
for this
the Louis Vuitton Monterey.
Oh, the Louis Vuitton. Yes, that's a good idea. I like
I'm glad you
that.
think so.
I'm glad you're glad I think so.
Is this for children?
sorry, I was sharing the
Yes.
screen. Do you-
Yes.
So tell us about
Is this not a
hands-on
children's watch for real? I mean, kid you not?
Is this not what Cara Barrett went on to do after she left Hodinky? Was make these these kids watches?
All I
Is that
know
what
is that
this is?
What are we
this is a limited edition of 188
Uh-huh.
pieces, and it costs
Mhm.
$56,500. Let's start with that.
Jeepers.
Is it in
Okay,
toy
so-
money or real?
Monopoly money.
You can trade a whole lot of Hot Wheels for this. Yeah.
Okay.
If you have
Uh,
56,500 Hot Wheels, then you could trade them in
Uh-huh.
for one Louis Vuitton Monterey.
Okay, so
it's gold.
What?
Explain.
Explain the price. The
Explain,
strategy.
Just explain. So was it a double?
I mean,
watch?
1980s that made the LV1 and the LV2, which was their first watches ever. They had a round case like this, a lugless case that was designed for them by an external designer. I discussed that in the hands-on article. There's a picture there of the LV1, which was
That's this world timer.
yeah, there were quartz.
Right,
So
okay.
the LV1, the LV2 were both
All right,
quartz
okay.
watches, and of
All right.
course Louis Vuitton cannot redo that part. I love they want to bring back a watch similar to Laureato, but when it comes to
maybe
really bringing it back,
256,000.
ooh, quartz. I don't know about that. So what they do is they take, it's not the exact same case shape. It's very, very similar. I think it's about 39 millimeters wide in a nice, chunky piece of gold with admittedly a boring strap, but they're trying to, go with the old one. Crown up at 12 o'clock. One of their, in-house automatic movements. Enamel dial. The dial is lovely. I guess what I would have wanted to see is a dial that maybe was a little bit more exactly on. Like, I'm not saying they need to use the original movements, but maybe more complications. Doing it as a 3-hand is fine. I think they're going for a fashion play here. I think what Louis Vuitton does is they make these things and they're like, put it on the runway and like, oh, what's this? So for them, it doesn't really need to add a product that's going to be as desirable as like the tambour or something like that. It just needs to be like a little talking moment for them that connects to their history. I think the primary marketing value here will be to remind people about the LV1 and LV2, which were really, really cool. The LV2 had a green ceramic case, for example, in the late 80s. That's pretty neat. So I think these are interesting watches to remember. But I think the moral of the story, which is fascinating to me, is that a company like Louis Vuitton, with all of its marketing power and all of its storytelling power, knows no other way to talk about its own history than to release a product to celebrate it. And this is common across much of the watch industry. But they found, they're like, we have these historic watches, we want to talk about them. How do we do that? I don't know. The only thing is to develop a product that kind of looks like that and come out with that. Like, that's kind of funny to me.
It is hilarious. I mean, I'm pretty
so-
sure Louis Vuitton has some other ways in terms of like advertising, like imagery and stuff.
Do
like
they
that.
though?
Formula One.
They
This-
could.
It's not
This
very
should be in the-
prominent.
Formula One, this should be in the wrist of somebody. What team would you give this to?
None of them.
Williams.
I mean,
I
this
don't know
doesn't
the
make
team.
maybe one from like 1952 or something like that. This doesn't make
Team that
this
wears
watch.
goggles.
I don't understand this at all.
It kind of looks
anyway.
like what the like the race car driver's wife would wear. The kind of like impractical
In the
gold watch while
50s.
she's wearing,
Yeah.
while she's watching
so-
the race. I guess.
I'm confused by a number of things. First of all, Fears would like their handset back. But secondly, the track. So you have a second track, which is divided into 5s, but the outside track, which is the minute and also the second, and I'm confused, is the minute track is divided into 4 in that the numeral has
5,
double
6, 7, 8,
but
9, 10. That's good.
Well, it's 3, but it has like double sections. That's just doing that's doing weird things to my brain.
Uh-oh.
Is that
It is
it's the
kinda
same
weird.
distance? But
Don't
it
think
is
of a
kinda
good
weird.
reason why not to spend $56,000.
So, so the bits that have the
1,
numbers written
2,
on them are twice as
3,
wide. So there's
4, 5.
3
Oh
dividers.
my god, that's so.
There is, that's weird.
You
That's
can't even
messing
read
with
the
my
minutes on
head.
this, that's true.
Yeah,
Why is
I'm
the
a-
hour? Why is the hour scale so busy though? Because it's just
Mhm.
you have a red hand pointing at a blue scale, which is already a nightmare in terms of
No,
watch
but
design.
which is-
And it just
but which is
this
which?
is proof that it's very difficult to design a simple watch well, because every mistake that you make just stands out. If this was like that world timer chronograph nonsense, whatever it is,
Uh-huh.
then of course all of this would be buried. But you have a
Okay.
plain wide dial,
but-
and then
but-
everything
but
just
which-
jumps out at
So
you.
But hold on,
look
but
at the
which
quartz
track-
one. I will try to
No,
explain.
Hold on a sec. We'll go back to that. Which track is which? Because
The hour is
outside track-
inside.
Is it? But the hour's got the hours
It
in
has
the
to be.
middle. And then the minute hand and the second hand both reach the outside track. I would have thought the inside
it's
track
gotta
was
be.
supposed to be this. I would have thought the inside track was supposed to be the second track.
It is.
The blue
Yeah.
one.
No.
But the
The
hand-
inside track is the hour track, and the periphery is supposed to be the
Uh-huh.
minutes and the seconds.
No,
Yeah,
that's
because
not
that's where the
supposed to be.
longer
But that's
hand
not really
points.
how it is.
That's weird. That's not right. That's look at the hands.
This is wrong
it's
on
the
so many
wrong
levels. I mean,
hands.
it has maybe 4 elements on the dial, and all of them are wrong. You don't need open worked hands when
Okay,
there's
so
nothing
go to the
underneath.
original.
okay, we'll
There's
go
a
to the
funny
original.
there's a funny thing to notice here.
We'll find the original. I'll
So-
find the best picture of the original. Hold on a second. Best picture.
There's a wrist
of
shot
the
in there. There's a wrist shot in
original.
there. Okay, so
Yeah.
you mentioned how you felt like the numbers were like too spread out. Well, the
Mhm.
original has the exact opposite issue. The date, rather than put the
Uh-huh.
date around the entire periphery, they just put
Uh-huh.
on the bottom,
Yeah,
and
the
there's like a
bottom.
double-sided hand. So like,
Oh, so it is. Oh, good grief.
so
Jeez.
I
gonna
guess
say,
it
so
kind of
it's
looks like
retrograde,
it's
but it's
smiling or
not.
something, but like they just completely didn't use the upper section, and rather than spread it out, they bunched them all together there and used the double-sided hand.
I mean, does
That's
that win
wild.
the award for
I
the busiest aisle?
That's for
I mean-
people sitting on their private jet, just bored out of their mind. They're like, oh, I guess I can at least just look at my watch and try and figure something out.
Uh-huh.
I love how they
Which is-
randomly threw a moon phase in there for no good reason.
In the middle, which isn't
it makes
really
it
that
look better.
because it's blocked by all the other stuff that's going on. But then the moon's mostly blocked in Scotland, so maybe that's appropriate. Okay, so tell me on this watch,
I
which
dig
is
it.
the minute hand, which is the second hand?
Well, this
Not
watch
hand,
also
the
has
track.
a disc. It also has a disc that turns. So what you can't see is there's a button. It's a flush button
Mhm.
that would be at the 6 o'clock
Yeah,
position,
no, so,
and that adjusts
right,
the
okay.
world time.
Oh, right, okay. So you can adjust the world time. It's a nice. That's a nice watch, but it's you're saying that's quartz.
Does that ruin it for you, sir?
No, it doesn't. I think more brands should be putting quartz movements in their famous watch cases. I think a Panerai with a quartz movement, solar quartz, Bonza. Just
You
go
want
on
a
with it.
solar quartz Panerai?
Solar quartz Panerai.
So they can
It's a
can
dream.
have solar tech. So that could be their new thing.
Solar Tech, yes, Solar Tech and Chat GPHG. That's where we're at. That's where we're at this week. Right, let's bring this show to an end. It needs taken out the back and put to sleep. So let's do that. Things to
Said
look
by a
for.
farmer.
Yeah, because I'm
Things-
so warm in my jacket. You never we didn't do the jacket thing. I got a Lange jacket
ja-
and I'm
Lange jacket.
melting in it. So the one time I wear branded stuff,
All right,
which is funny
show
because
off
it says
your branded stuff.
ALS.
Mhm.
It says Lange in the back, but isn't ALS
Uh-huh.
like also like a degenerative disease?
Yes, that's yes, it is. That's weird.
Yeah.
Are there any also is it a college type jacket?
It's a Letterman style jacket.
So
Well,
is there?
There was
so
a there was
that begs the
there was an
question.
evening
what,
there.
Mhm.
What?
Well,
there
it
was
begs
a
the question as
themed
to
party evening.
right.
required
What
it.
colleges have the initials ALS?
No, there's
So
not.
is there an
maybe.
Ashford College, Rotherham College? No. Just trying to see if there's any American colleges that it looks like you're now a graduate from because you're wearing additional learning support. No, there's nothing. There's nothing
That's
handy
right.
there. Nothing handy
I need the
there.
additional learning support.
Yeah, don't we all? Right, that's how we get folk into this hobby.
Don't we
We are the additional learning support for those just trying to get into this hobby. We don't talk shop. We don't. We're not always behind the curtain. Anyway, right. Things to look forward to this week in the world of watches. David, what's going on?
Oh, there's some embargo stuff that I'm writing up that I think debuts this week. Actually,
Mhm.
there's two, and one is already completed, and the other one involves a manufacturer visit as well. So that's a little bit more complicated. So there's
Cool.
stuff to look forward to, that's for sure.
Good. Ariel, what you looking forward to this week?
I'm actually going to be going to New York City for the multiple shows there. I think there's Watch Time and there's a Wind Up and there's a few other ones
Mhm.
there. So it's just a lot of new watches all the time. You know, we didn't really have a lull over the summer. And I think like this week alone, what is there, like 7 embargoes or something like that? So we got plenty to talk about, folks. But were we accessible enough? Did the novice find an entry point?
Let us
A
know,
hook, if
dear
you will.
novice. Dear novice, let us know if you're hooked in by the show. And
Do we have any
all those fans.
feedback right now? Like I know this is a weird live one. Usually we have like the people chatting. I have
No,
no
we
idea
don't
of
have any we don't have any feedback yet, but I'm
Ah,
sure we will. I'm sure we will
beautiful
get it soon
silence.
enough. Beautiful silence. I'm sure we'll get it soon enough. I've probably made a mistake, and this is not actually going out live. I've probably made an error in the background somewhere, but I guess we'll find out.
Practice show. That's good.
Practice. This is rehearsal. Good. Well, thank you all for tuning in. This is our secret episode, so you might not hear this anywhere else other than the YouTube channel, which means you've already found it, which means there's no point in me talking about it because you found it already, but never mind. Have a great week, everybody. Speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye.